All right, let's dive into something truly fascinating today, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And I want you to just forget everything you think you know about what an alphabet is. We're not talking about simple symbols for sounds here. No, we're going to look at these letters as living, breathing forces, the actual architecture of reality itself.
So let me just throw this out there right at the beginning. What if an alphabet wasn't just for, writing down words, but for writing reality itself? What if those shapes on a page were actually the fundamental source code, the very building blocks a creator would use to literally form the universe? Now, this isn't some new idea. It comes from this ancient, really mystical Jewish text called the Sefer Yetzirah, which means the Book of Creation. And it makes this absolutely radical claim. The universe was formed through these 22 holy letters. They aren't just a way to describe reality. In this view, they are the very force that causes it to exist. Okay, so to really get a handle on this cosmic alphabet, we have to start at the foundation. In this system, all of creation begins with three primal forces, and these are known as the mother letters. Think of these mother letters as the archetypes, the raw elements from which everything else is made. You could almost see them as the primary colors of creation itself. So let's break this down. You've got Aleph, which is air. It's like this silent, balancing breath that exists between the two other forces. Then there's Mem, representing water. You can almost picture it as this flowing maternal womb of all creation. And finally Shin, which is fire, that powerful, dynamic, transforming spirit of change. Air, water, and fire. The idea here, and it's a big one, is that the entire cosmos is held in the harmony of just these three letters. But this goes so much deeper than just elements. Each and every one of the 22 letters has its own personality, its own story, its own unique power. To really see how deep this rabbit hole goes, we're going to explore a few really key examples. So let's start with the letter Yod. Now, if you look at it, it's the smallest letter in the entire alphabet. It's barely more than a dot. But in this mystical tradition, its tiny form is completely deceptive, hiding an almost infinite power. The ancient pictograph for Yod was actually a hand, which makes sense because it represents action, deeds, power. It's seen as the divine spark, that tiny seed from which all of creation just explodes into being. In fact, mystics say that this tiny little point contains the potential for everything that will ever exist. It's the perfect example of humility containing infinity. And you can see this concept playing out right here. The letter Yod isn't just some abstract idea. It represents that divine spark inside of humanity and the incredible power in a healing hand that can literally bring sight to the blind. Okay, now let's look at another one, the letter Kuf. Its shape is really unique. It's actually the only letter in the standard Hebrew alphabet that drops below the line you write on.
And that descent, that's the whole point. The ancient pictograph might have been a monkey, swinging low, or maybe the eye of a needle. It represents reaching down into the lowest places, the mundane, even the broken parts of life, to find a hidden spark of holiness. The Sefer Yetzirah even says it's crowned over laughter, which suggests it helps us find joy where we'd least expect to.
I just love this description. Kuf is all about transformation. It's the power that can take something that seems low or sad, like melancholy, and just flip it on its head, revealing a hidden holy joy. And finally, we come to the last letter of the alphabet, Tav. As the final letter, it represents completion, the final seal on the entire creative masterpiece. Its ancient symbol was a cross or a mark, kind of like a signature you'd put at the end of a document. It means covenant, completion, and above all, truth. It's the final stamp, the seal that declares the work is done, and it is true. And this connection is just so profound. The symbol of the cross and that declaration, it is finished, is the ultimate expression of Tav's power, bringing the entire grand story of creation and redemption to its perfect, victorious close. So how does this all fit together? Well, the letters don't just have individual meanings. They combine to form this coherent code. And maybe the most powerful example of this is the Hebrew word for truth. Okay, so the word for truth is emet. And this is where it gets really cool. Look at what it's made of. It starts with Aleph, the very first letter of the alphabet. In the middle, you've got Mim, the exact middle letter. And how does it end? With Tav, the absolute last letter. The symbolism here is just wow. It's saying that truth isn't just one piece of the puzzle, it's the entire story, from the absolute beginning, through the middle, to the very end. But wait, it gets even more mind-blowing. What happens if you take that word for truth, emet, and you remove the first letter? You take out the aleph, that symbol of God's silent breath, that divine connection. We are left with the word met. And you know what met means in Hebrew? It means dead. I mean, just let that sink in. The implication is just profound. Truth, when it's separated from its divine source, is completely lifeless.
So why does any of this ancient mysticism matter to us today? Well, because it should radically change how we think about the words we speak every single day.
If letters really are living forces, then every single word we say is an act of creation. Language stops being just a way to describe the world and becomes a tool for actually building it, for better or for worse.
And this idea, it's echoed across so many wisdom traditions. The book of Proverbs puts it simply: the tongue has the power of life and death. Our words are not empty. They are charged with creative or destructive potential.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question. If every word you speak is a building block, a piece of that cosmic code that shapes the world around you, what kind of reality are you building?